Most people think real financial change starts at 100K, 6 figures, the big milestone. But the truth? Everything starts to change at just $10,000. Not when you get rich, but when you finally get a grip. Because the first 5-figure milestone isn't just a number, it's a psychological and strategic turning point. It flips how you think, spend, save, and even see yourself. This isn't theory. It's backed by data, psychology, and financial behavior studies. Across income levels and countries, research shows the first 10K builds the foundation most wealth is built on. Let's break down 7 reasons why everything shifts after your first 10K, and why it's the most underrated financial turning point of your life. Reason 1. It breaks the scarcity mindset. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, every dollar feels like it's already spent before it even hits your account. This is called scarcity mindset, and it dominates your decisions. Scarcity forces short-term thinking. You can't plan, you can't invest, you can't say no to bad deals because you're in survival mode. But once you save $10,000, something changes. You shift from reacting to responding. You move from panic to planning. Behavioral economists call this the bandwidth tax. Scarcity literally reduces cognitive performance. So when your emergency fund hits 5 figures, you reclaim mental bandwidth. You make smarter choices, not just financially, but in every area of life. This isn't just about peace of mind, it's about strategic clarity. 10K doesn't make you rich, but it gives you breathing room. And with breathing room comes better decision making. Reason 2. You build financial identity and self-trust. Here's what most people miss. Building wealth isn't just about knowledge, it's about identity. When you hit 10K in your savings or investment account, you don't just have more money. You've proven to yourself that you're someone who can earn, save, and hold on to money. You're no longer trying to get better with money. You are better with money. This changes everything. You start setting higher goals. You feel more confident in financial conversations. You stop undercharging, under-earning, or undervaluing your time. It's not the number that changes your life. It's what the number proves to you about who you are. And that shift in identity, that's what creates long-term wealth, because people act in alignment with who they believe they are. Reason 3. Compounding becomes tangible. Compound interest is one of the most powerful forces in wealth creation, but most people never feel it. Because when your account balance is tiny, growth is barely noticeable. But with 10K, the math starts to matter. At a 7% return, you're earning $700 a year, passively. At 10%, it's $1,000. And the next year, those returns earn returns. Now you're not just working for money, your money is working for you. And once you see that, it's hard to go back to thinking about money the same way. You start asking smarter questions. Where can I optimize returns? How can I keep more of what I earn? What vehicles accelerate growth without taking excessive risk? This is where the investor mindset kicks in. And it's hard to build that mindset without capital. 10K is enough to start seeing meaningful progress and believing in compounding because you're finally feeling it. Reason 4. You're insulated from 90% of financial emergencies. According to multiple surveys, including Federal Reserve data, nearly half of adults can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing. Now imagine what happens when you've got $10,000. Most unexpected expenses, car repairs, medical bills, travel for a funeral, sudden job loss, cost under $5,000. With 10K, you're no longer vulnerable to life's randomness. You don't need to swipe a high-interest credit card, take out a payday loan, ask friends or family for money, sell your stuff, or take a job you hate. Instead, you're operating from a position of power, not panic. You can respond, adapt, and move on because your life isn't crumbling every time something breaks. This level of financial resilience can't be overstated. It's not about wealth, it's about stability, and 10K buys it. Reason 5. You start playing offense, not defense. Before 10K, every dollar is about survival. After 10K, you start thinking about leverage. You're no longer choosing between gas or groceries. You're asking questions like, what can I invest in? What skills can I buy that will earn me more later? Which income stream can I build on the side? This is where financial momentum begins. Because when you're not in constant defense mode, you can look for opportunities, not just avoid disasters. Maybe you buy equipment to start a small service business, invest in a course that leads to a promotion, Take time off to reskill or start something new. It's not that 10K makes you rich, it's that it gives you the ability to think like someone who can become rich because you've bought the luxury of choice. Reason 6. You can make intentional spending decisions. One of the biggest transformations after 10K is how you spend, not just how you save. Before, spending often feels like guilt or chaos. After 10K, spending becomes strategic. You don't panic when it's time to replace a phone or book a last-minute flight. You can invest in quality, not just affordability. You no longer think, what's the cheapest option? You think, what's the best value for my time and money? And here's the real magic. People with a cushion tend to spend less emotionally. You're not spending to escape, you're spending with purpose. That alone can reduce impulsive purchases, debt accumulation, and buyer's remorse. Financial psychology proves this again and again. Security reduces spending urges, which means 10K doesn't just buy options, it buys clarity. Reason 7. You shift from fear to freedom. This final reason isn't talked about enough, but it might be the most important. 10K doesn't just change your account balance, it changes your emotional baseline. Before it, money often equals fear. Fear of bills, fear of losing your job, fear of being judged, left behind, or failing Kong. But once you have 10K in the bank, a lot of that fear melts. You feel calm, you feel in control, you feel something most people rarely associate with money, peace. And from that place of peace, everything gets better. Your relationships improve, your creativity flows, you make smarter, more confident moves. That's the quiet power of hitting your first 10K. It's not loud or flashy. It's not about Lambos or luxury trips. It's about emotional freedom, the first real taste of it. If you haven't reached your first 10K yet, make it your next goal. Not because it's impressive, but because it unlocks everything that comes after. Track your spending, automate your savings, delay upgrades, and ignore pressure to flex. This number will change your life more than you think. And if you have crossed 10K already, drop a comment. What changed for you? How did your mindset or habits shift after crossing that milestone? Thanks for watching. And remember, wealth starts with one decision, and often that decision is to build the first 10K.